Alright, we're back. Game 2, Dawn versus Mewtwo, Gold Cycle 6, round of 16. That's all the context you need. Oh, no, also Dawn is up 1 game to nothing, but you can probably see that because of the giant 1. So, also, if you watched game 1, you're probably well aware that Dawn is up game 1 and nothing, so... I think we talked about that game enough. Let's just put it behind us. As I'm sure
not much to say.
Speaking of Mewtwo, first 2 bans for them are Ophelia and Magnus. Cthulhu and presumably Swiftblade will be taken out by Labyrinth on Dawn's side. And that would lead into what I expect to be a first pick Kraken. But there's a lot of stuff that could happen before that, so...
Yeah, I wanna see if they ban is Swiftblade or not. They're thinking about it for some reason.
Seems to me like it's an auto ban, especially in this patch. Just get the Swiftblade out, get the Cthulhu out, things get a lot more even. But, I mean, it would, like I said, it would leave the Kraken open, and that's, the Magnus is already taken off the board, so maybe Labyrinth feeling like if I leave Swiftblade and Kraken available, I'll get 1. And he takes out the Parasite, so he will get one of those 2 heroes if he wants it. First pick Swiftblade, Tempest actually is the choice.
What?
And there's the Kraken, so...
That was super weird. Why would you, like, pick the Tempest before the Kraken? Not only is the Kraken a great counter to Tempest, but Tempest plus Kraken combination is pretty damn good.
Right. So, I guess they were afraid of Tempest being picked up by the Legion side, which is a legitimate fear, but it still seems like you'd rather have the Kraken against the Tempest than the Tempest against the Kraken in that case. Now...
Sure.
We've got Swiftblade and Kraken on the Legion side, which is in itself a pretty damn good combination. Get that release the Kraken on a couple of people, and Spin does a lot of damage. As those Swift Slashes, especially if they can't run away.
I'm curious whether or not they're gonna put Swiftblade Suicide, or if they're gonna put him as the farmer, because I know that inexperienced Suicide players have a very hard time with Swiftblade, actually. Kiesu, for example, buys the mana pots and he spins every wave and he just pushes the tower or the lane into the tower all the time, and therefore he just that's how he plays it. But regular players are just like, I'm just gonna go here and I'm gonna try to you know, spin to harass the enemy instead, and that's usually not working out as well.
And in my estimation, Kaiser knows what he's doing on Swiftblade, because he's 11-0 on Swiftblade, and that's the that's the most games played for any 100% win player hero combo. By a lot.
Wow.
Number 2 is like 7-0.
I don't think we have lost with Swiftblade either. The times we have gotten him, I don't think we have lost a single time.
Very possible.
We won, yeah. It's just one of those heroes that are so difficult to deal with.
I could check right now, but I really don't feel like it.
Nah,
Do I even have
no
my
point.
stats up right now? No, I had them up earlier. I was working on an article. And now I don't. I closed them. Oh well. Bubble's going to be the 3rd pick for the Legion side, so lots of AoE lockdown between the Kraken and Bubbles, and some pretty solid gank potential as well. There's going to be a couple more Portal Key heroes, and we'll see if they can actually get Portal Keys this time around. Bloodborne going to counter with the Rhapsody, so that Bubbles is going to be a nice pick against both Tempest and Rhapsody, and I'm really liking the Legion draft so far.
Yeah, if this is a Bubbles mid or safe lane, I like the draft, but if they actually have the Bubbles Suicide, then I'm not a fan of it anymore. I feel like a lot's gonna depend on the Bubbles, actually. How he performs.
Yeah. Actually, I think I'd prefer the Suicide. I'm not a huge fan of Suicide Kraken, and the only way that that would make a better situation is if they long lane duel or try with the Swiftblade, which actually would be fine, but...
They could just have solo Swiftblade Suicide as well.
Yeah, but that assumes they know how to do that, and I'm less than optimistic.
But Bubbles is like the weakest Suicide out there. Like, I have no clue why people pick him for the Suicide, but I would never do that. If I pick a Bubbles, it's for the mid or the safe lane. He is so dependent on early levels and early farm, and he cannot even, like, he can't box out any Suicide hero or any support heroes on his own. So Suicide is a big no-no, unless you're sure that he's up versus a 1 versus 1.
I think that's the situation where most people would prefer to have him Suicide, and against a couple of supports, he's solid. Empath, I think, being the most obvious one, because he can just cancel the Essence Link and skip over the wall.
Yeah, but even against him, like even, I mean, sure, you can go against the Empath because he's obviously that good, but even though he can't even win against the Empath, more or less.
Yeah, probably not.
Even with take cover.
And Rhapsody here on the Helmord side doesn't give too much away. She is both a strong offensive mid support as well as a good babysitter, so doesn't necessarily mean that the suicide role will be a 1-versus-1 situation. But anyway, Drunken Master can be the third pick for Dawn, and it's well established how I feel about that hero. Legion side, Silhouette, Pharaoh, and Dr. Repulsor are going to be their bans. Empath, Glacius, and Torture are getting taken on the pool by the Hellborn team, so Hellborn realizing Legion have no supports yet, going to remove a bunch of popular ones. Riftwalker is the fourth pick, and I would imagine that's going to be a support for the Legion team. They do still have a couple of support options, most notably Engineer and Pyromancer, who are a little bit more offensive in terms of their support capability and not quite as good at the babysit role, but so that would lend to a tri-lane or a long lane dual lane if they end up going for that. But they're still picking a keeper here, which would be okay.
I really hope they don't pick him though, because they're gonna be so passive once again. It's only gonna be Swiftblade who can do anything in the early game. With Spain, Riftwalker is the kind of hero that needs level 6 before she can really assist the team in any ways. And Kraken kind of relies on his bulky, and Bubbles relies on all the levels. So, but I can't play the Swiftblade Suicide anymore because the Hellborn team picked up the Drunken, which obviously his launch goes through the spin, and he can stagger away from the damage as well.
Okay.
Wait, what? Okay.
That's a thing that happened. Jungle Raw apparently is alright. Okay, I don't hate Raw. I don't particularly like him, but I think he should be seen a little bit more often than the current 1 game, maybe 2. He's
I don't.
Go.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, you talk about him. I have no concrete thoughts.
I don't necessarily dislike him either. I feel like he can be viable at times. I mean, I like the concept, how the hero works. He's a bit too weak though. And as a jungler, I just feel like he has no gank presence whatsoever.
Sure.
He's never going to be able to go for the marchers first, since he's reliable, or he's dependent on the life tube in the forest. So obviously he's not going to have marchers until later on into the game, and his stun is like, he can't do anything. So he's once again very, very passive. And now they also have the Riftwalker, which obviously is not going to be able to box out the Suicide on his own. So I just feel like going for these, like, if you have Riftwalker, why would you go for yet another passive forest hero? Makes no sense. It's just like the first game.
I think they picked the Riftwalker on the back of the Bubbles and the Kraken, figuring that one of those two immediate CC type ultimates will lock people down for long enough for Riftwalker to get a wormhole off onto a couple of heroes. I'm not sure. I guess, and the AoE damage of Raw is going to play well with the interaction of those spells.
Yeah. It works very well with the Kelp Field as well, the Riftwalker ultimate, and I loved the draft up until the final pick. I just would have wanted them to have something a little bit more offensive, something that actually deals damage in the early game.
Right.
Raw doesn't really deal too much damage in the early game.
Sure, Pyromancer maybe would have been better pickup.
Yeah, something like that. They can't really... Or wait, I'm gonna see how the lanes shape up first.
Yeah,
they have the
problem.
Kraken mid. So they can't really run...
That was
I think, yeah, but it matters.
Yeah, based on the last game, I figured, or the players at least, the Archwood was the one who played the Suicide Magnus last game, so I figured it was going to be Suicide Bubbles and mid Kraken, considering Nick played that mid Bubbles last game. And it looks like it's going to be a safe lane Riftwalker Swiftblade combination, which is fairly strange. I think it's the best thing they can do based on their lineup, as I really am not a fan of Suicide Kraken, as I said before, and I'm also not a fan of dual lane Kraken, so I guess you might as well stick the Riftwalker bot, but in fact I'd like to see her mostly focused on stacking the woods and potentially the pole camp and keeping lane control for the Swiftblade, as opposed to actually trying to be in lane and harass out the Chronos, who is another hero we didn't talk about, but Hellborn going Suicide Chronos. And that's
seeing as it is right now, I feel like Legion or Hellborn team is gonna win all 3 lanes. Rhapsody should go mid as well after boxing out the Bubbles for like the first wave here. Just he should use the stun staccato and get him out there, and then he should just leave more or less.
And There it is. Bubble's already taking more than half his health, dealing about a fifth of Rhapsody's health.
Why?
You look at it.
Why would you want to man up versus Rhapsody? I mean, you just wasted a
Doesn't
health pot. Just go back as soon as you see the Rhapsody.
Well,
I just don't get why people do that. Like, it's all, I see it all the time. Like, people just like trying to like stand their ground for some reason because they're stubborn or they just don't want to give in. But like, just run. Like,
especially
once
considering
again,
Rap has a health pot and a tango, so it's not like she's sitting without regen here. I mean, yeah, Bubbles has 6 more trees, or now 5 more trees, but he's gonna get harassed out pretty damn quickly.
Yeah, he can't be up here. He should just leave.
To the Zibe and just head to the lane, to the woods, and start stacking and pulling the lane. And he's gonna go through the shell surf, but actually Staccato's up, but he apparently doesn't have the range. Yeah, there it is. Marauders will do a lot of damage, but he shouldn't have a kill here. Unless he wants that so badly, but he go back pretty quickly, realizing he can't do anything. Bubble's gonna stop off, presumably by a health potion, and maybe head back to lane. I guess these things won't go very well for him.
No, that's why Bubble Suicide is so damn weak.
Anyway, bottom lane, shared existence, does get put on the Chronos, excuse me, slow down a little bit, but I'm curious to see how he performs, because it was months and months and months of, oh my god, Chronos is the most broken hero in the entire game. He takes a nerf, which was significant, but I don't think completely broken to that hero, and we never ever
Bubbles got a kill, by the way, top lane, but he fucked it up.
Tempest, is he gonna die to neutrals? He's gonna die to neutrals. That was a hell of a chase. He did not buy out. Meanwhile, Rhapsody actually does manage to finish off the Bubbles. So that was a mistake from Tempest as well, because he was well on his way to his mana ring actually. That death did not help him.
Watch my blade dance.
Anyway, Chronos gonna get the time leap off on the bottom lane as the spin came through, but what do you think? I mean, is Chronos does he deserve his current pick rate, essentially?
You mean that he's not picked up too often anymore?
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't even know what it is, but I don't think he's been picked more than 10 times.
I think it was just because of I think he's gonna come back. I really do. I think it's because the Suicide heroes that have been like played in the last patch has just been too overpowered for him to actually like matter. Like Kajulafant, Swiftblade, like those heroes have just like, if they're up, you have to pick them, and therefore, I mean, the Suicide heroes have kind of like. It has been really hard to draft Suicide heroes during the last patch. Like, that's the big question. Like, what are you gonna have Suicide? Because nothing is as strong as Cthulhufant and Swiftblade, more or less. And therefore, I don't think people have picked Chronos. But now when they're nerfed again, I think he's gonna come back. Because he's solid, you know. Yeah. And with a fast Restoration Stone, he can make like, or he can turn entire fights.
I kind of wonder actually if the Resto Stone build is the correct one anymore, considering it is the 25% reduced damage from targets outside of the field. I don't know if it's...
They fixed that now in this patch?
No, that's the nerf he took post-CIC. That destroyed his viability. People stopped using him entirely because, right, the Resto Stone build was essentially meant, like, I can lock down 3, 4, 5 heroes on your team for a ridiculous amount of time, but he himself was not a significant source of damage. He was just the CC tool. And now that you do 25% reduced damage from people outside of the field, it's been much more like, okay, well, I can lock people down, but I can't actually kill them. And
so, but if you're in this, or I mean, if you're in it, then it's still the same. So, I don't think it's gonna matter too much. Like, it was already too strong when you had the Restoration Stone. So I think that's fine.
If your allies are in the Chrono field, they can't attack.
If you got the Staff of the Master, though, that's what I've seen.
No, Staff of the Master allows allies to attack, as actually Chronos dies in the bottom lane. So I caught that.
They're gonna be super slow though, so it doesn't really make sense to go in the Chronos field anyway. So yeah, that's a good point.
That's a crap top lane. Meanwhile, they do manage to go Bubbles as well. Completely missed that. And that's also a lot of gold that you need. That's at least one major item in the Staff of the Master, and potentially a Resto Stone on top of that. It's a pretty ridiculous amount of gold that could honestly be used to just turn Chronos into like a right-click attacker anyway. So anyway, speaking of that. Comes in the middle lane, kills King Nikke. Not bad. I don't know. I'm curious to see.
So look at the bubbles. Look at the bubbles, like 70 GPM. That's what you get. Like, he's like -1 hero right now. Like they would have been better off if he wasn't in the game.
Yeah.
So yeah, not sure. And Riftwalker, I mean, she needs levels. She hasn't been doing his stacks like you were talking about earlier. And that's what she has to do. Even when she had a haste earlier on, she didn't stack. She was just standing AFK and watching Swiftblade farm, more or less.
Right.
So they need to really ship up on their movements. Like they're not doing anything that's threatening the Hellborn team. They can just do whatever they want. Like just as in the first game, they have nothing to fear.
Yeah. I really do feel like this Riftwalker has had some issues. I mean, currently raw 250 GPM, which is not terrible, but it's definitely not good. It's almost dying again in the top lane. Just stop it. Just stop going there, please.
I don't get why people keep going there. It's always the same.
I played, in my entire life, I have played one game against Angry Testing. I was in the mid as Bubbles against the Chipper, which he was playing. It was a bad time because, as I've mentioned before, I'm not a particularly good player. I'm a decent player, probably a little bit above average, but Testy is Testy. So he killed me 2 times. After that, I was like, screw this. Hit level 6 by playing ridiculously passively. Went gank top, got a kill. Went gank bottom, got another kill. And his like paid teammates or whatever started flaming me. They're like, man, Bubbles, you're getting wrecked so hard in the middle lane, and now you're just ganking. What it's like? What do you expect me to do? I'm gonna sit in mid and die to Chipper a whole bunch more times? No. Run to other lanes, set stuff up. Bubbles has powerful early game spells. Do something with them. Of course, he's level 3, so. But point is, I'm
and Riftwalker sitting mid for no freaking reason. Like, why is he there? He's never gonna be able to do anything. Like, he needs to farm, but he just doesn't get it. Like, support heroes, they should really try to farm in the early game. Wow, that elemental, or that push into the elemental void, by the way.
Not bad at all, and that should be a pretty solid kill. They did a good job of staying in staccato stuns, actually, from Rhapsody, and Dragon Master gets taken with the charge, so it's pretty damn tanky on that Kraken, but it's not going to be tanky enough, apparently, to survive the 3-man gank. And here we go, 8 minutes. Riftwalker did not stack a camp. Stank. Good stuff. Ancients have not been stacked. Hard camp, not stacked, and it's... Riftwalker is a great stack taker with her Rift Burn. Ra is a great stack taker with all of his AoE damage, and Swiftblade is great at taking stacks with a spin. It's not like they can't kill stacks.
Yeah, I don't know. And Riftwalker's even going for a Cascade event, or maxing that one up instead of the Rift Burn, so... I don't know, super confused.
I'm more or less okay with that. I don't think it matters that much. People are just going to run out of Rift Burn anyway.
I think it matters quite a bit. I feel like Rift Burn is the way to go at least, but yeah, I guess it doesn't matter at this point.
I don't know, I'm not even a player, but yeah, looks like Chipper coming in with the Invis rune, and they can take a whole bunch of man-fight damage. Kraken using his ultimate, and that's gonna miss. In fact, Chipper is like, hello, it's me. Thank you for taking that bait, and we will kindly kill you now. Meanwhile, the bottom lane, Kronos putting an ultimate onto 2, and the rockets coming through onto the Riftwalker. Will they be able to get this kill? Yeah, they will. Robots getting a double tap, and he's going to pour it out, because why the hell not? What are they going to do to stop it? Absolutely nothing. So, nice double tap from
What
Probusk.
time? Yeah, what time are you at?
Oh, yeah, right. Probably should have resynced. 9:27, 28, 29, 30.
Okay, I'm synced up. Yeah. For some reason, I get ahead.
It's the post-draft thing.
Yeah.
That happens. It's partially probably because your computer is... I wouldn't be surprised if it's better than mine. I have a pretty good computer, but it's also quite old. And the other thing is, I've got OBS running, I've got multiple instances of GIMP running, I've got HoN running, I've got Skype running. That's more programs. And will they be locked on Bubbles? Yes, they will. He can't port the shell serve. Probusk actually only hits the last rocket, which still nets him that kill. And
like, they can't even touch the Dawn players. Like, they can't even touch them. They can't even do anything. They have nothing that they have to fear. They can do whatever the fuck they want.
No, he's pushed away. Robots actually gets pulled back in. He's looking for something on this Kraken. They're like, hey, why not? Jonas coming in there from the side, helping out with a little bit of lockdown from the slow and the Curse of Ages.
The Hellborn have
Top
overrun
tower
a
goes
Legion
down
FOB.
as well. Tempest comes in to push that. Iceland Go-Go at 350 GPM. Haven't talked about him in the jungle too much, but he's definitely having a nice time. 1 and 3. Now Chrono's gonna jump on top of this Rift Walker, and we'll see if they actually get a counter kill out of this. They do get one out of the Chronos, but Ra is gonna be in a lot of trouble. There's his ultimate getting popped. Double damage on Drunken Master. He's gonna come back in actually if the bottle charges are there. Silence did not hit on DM. And he's taking the drink charges to get himself some health back. And there's a slash actually. That's gonna be a kill. As Labyrinth's ultimate was down, so he could not block the Swift Slashes from Dutch Ownage. So, they do get a couple of kills.
They do. Powell's getting some experience as well, which is nice, obviously. Unfortunately, he doesn't even have archers yet, though. So that's going to be a problem. And the push is going to start to kick in now from Dawn because they have the Astro. So, stopping a full 5-man team or full 5-man push from Dawn right now, I'm not sure how they're going to be able to do it.
Yeah. Actually, Kraken gonna allow the Tempest Element to split. They have the Staccatos on him as well, and is he gonna die here? He's not. Not quite enough damage to finish off. No, I thought he did. Really? Wow. There's the elemental auto attacks are still in the air, and meanwhile Tempest pops an Invis rune, so that's pretty damn funny.
Big ultimate incoming.
Yeah, I'm guessing. They're not quite grouped up. There it is. It will hit on 2, but where's the Kelpfield?
That wasn't very big though.
And also the ultimate from Rhapsody be canceled from the silence. They still manage to get a couple of kills onto 3 heroes. And they do eventually lose Rhapsody, but they're going to chase down Ra here. Should be pretty easy to kill him, but actually Ra could be a counter kill. It's just Ashes, not enough time to survive and chase the Tempest down. So Iceland Go-Go just going to walk right out. And it's 4 hero kills in favor of the Hellborn team.
Yeah, Swiftly got picked off at the bot lane as well during that.
Sure, why not? Chronos
Probus could have saved Rhapsody though. But he wanted to kill on Bubbles on himself instead of actually letting him Tempest get it. So that was really greedy and very mean towards Rhapsody.
Well, he's a support.
But
support,
yeah,
you die, I get kill. This is HoN.
And the top lane.
Yeah,
they
Kraken.
have a lot of Invis runes, by the way.
They do seem to be getting them regularly. Chipper Stein right in Kraken's face, and Kronos wants some part of this, but Probus making sure he gets them kills because it's more important. He's the carry player; he has to get the kills. And this dude got nearly 500 GPM as well, and shut down a Chipper like this is not going to be easy.
I'm curious about what he's gonna go for the next item. I guess I can't take this game seriously though.
It's gonna be
at his item choices, but no, I think he's gonna stick with a glowstone and they just go for the pull key.
He had something, I think, and he broke it for the Grave Locket. I think he had a Ring of Sorcery and he broke it for the Grave Locket, so I think he's going to be using the...
but in that case, you should have already bought it, though.
He probably should have. I don't know if he did. Anyway, he do manage to pick off the Rift Walker, and they get a Kraken ultimate onto a couple, as well as a pretty nice initiation there from Bubbles, but he's in the background. Has a Kelpfield still, hasn't quite used it, so wants something, gets the ultimate, as well as the spin onto Tempest, and they will pick off that kill. Meanwhile, they're still trying to chase down this Drunken Master, but he's like, I'm going to counter, but realizing Kelpfield's not still there, actually, he will die. They do manage to counter on the Swiftblade. Chipper trying to run away. He's actually fairly low and pretty out of mana, but here comes the Rhapsody, and they're also going to lock down the Kraken as Kronos comes in from the side. And that's sort of a genocide, as Riftwalker respawns to greet the death of the rest of her team.
And she's not even level 6 yet, so the whole thing that they planned when they were drafting this isn't even gonna come into play.
And you are correct, by the way,
That's...
to stop the Master on ship.
Oh, staff. Oh.
I was wrong. I thought he had this Ring of Sorcery. I was wrong. It's fine.
Alright, so it goes for the full staff.
You like that over early Portal Key? I feel like PK is better.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't necessarily see the point in getting the Staff Demoset this early. I mean, I guess it's great for the stats. He's not going to be able to die.
Nope.
And I mean, that's all they really need. But yeah, I guess it depends on how the game progresses. Right now, like, he's not going to necessarily find any pickups, so he's just going to go with the team and end, I guess.
Anyway, they're going to be Swiftblade. Yeah, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. Here comes the Riftwalker Wormhole, as well as the Cascade event. Going to hit 3 heroes, so that's not a bad initiation. They're going to see if they can get the Kelp Field. Actually, it's on cooldown. That's not going to happen. Tempest Hole locking people down. Bubble's going to be the first one to die, as well as Riftwalker. Ra will come back up as a result of his ultimate. Probably won't be surviving very much longer than that, as Kraken gets picked off as well. And it seems like everybody's sort of getting in one by one. 2 heroes already dead, and Kraken chose that time to initiate. I really don't know why. Swiftblade spin onto the Tempest. That should be at least one counter kill, as Rhapsody ultimate is out of range. Swiftblade getting pushed back in. They might get this DM as well. He's trying to get out of here, though, with the lunge. Does so, and Probus is like, do whatever you want. I do not care. They're going to jump in as well onto Dizzy on that Ra and finally finish him off. And we're diving tier 4 towers at 15 minutes into the game is where we're at. Probably not the greatest thing. And the Kelp Field going to cancel the ult report from Probus, but he's got a focus buffer on him. Is he going to survive this? My guess is no. As actually the Chrono Field goes through, that's going to be a Bubbles kill. Now Riftwalker can't do anything, and what am I talking about? Of course Probus is going to live. He's completely fine. Drink Charge is actually keeping Drunken Master alive. He manages to live. Not a bad play.
That was yeah, that was actually pretty cool.
Not bad. Nikke wanting everybody to stay because he was coming in with his release to Kraken, and the entire Hellborg team is super low at this point, except for Kronos, but apparently they didn't want to oblige. Okay, Void Talisman on Rhapsody? That seems like a terrible idea.
Yep, terrible, terrible, terrible. I agree.
They have absolutely no physical damage.
I have the Swiftblade ultimate, but like, why would you ever, like, I don't know. Picking a Void Talisman for one ultimate is just not worth it.
Against Ra and Bubbles and Kraken and Riftwalker, you pop that Void Talisman, you're gonna explode.
Yep. Like the entire Legion team, they just don't have any damage. As soon as the Tempest picks up their Astro, there's nothing they can do in teamfights. Like, it doesn't matter if they hit all their spells perfectly, they just don't have the damage enough. And like, that's something that you need to take into consideration when your enemy team first picks a freaking Tempest. Then you need to have an answer to like counter push and these kind of like early towers.
Yeah, and they're gonna jump on top of the Riftwalker here. Drunken Master was actually helped out a little bit as Probus is immortal, so that's where we're at. He's 15-0-8, that's not bad. The funny thing there was the Cascade event actually pulled Drunken Master closer to Rhapsody, which I'm pretty sure was not her intention. But at the very least, seems like it contributed to the kill. And she's 0-7-3, so she's probably used to dying by this point. I guess that Bubbles and Kraken can commiserate. Anyway, they will jump onto the Swiftblade once again. Legion Courier dies. And one more auto attack will finish Swiftblade off. Drunken Master has it as he's diving once again. Now he has to get the hell out of there. Release Kraken in the background and a Kelp Field on the 4. They also get the Wormhole off, and that's going to get one, perhaps 2 kills as they kill both Yugovec and Time to Die. Chrono Field going off onto a number of heroes. Swiftblade buys back. Swiftblade ultimate onto the Drunken Master. That's a 3rd kill. And they're going to switch to do some Probus here, and he's going to give up an Immortal Streak, is my guess. Yeah. Archwood on the Bubbles, picking up 700 gold for doing Probus.
Yay!
So good base defense.
Come back. Yeah. And he's using it to buy the steamboats.
And Tempest.
Well, Tempest actually deciding to feed a little bit as well. I picked what?
He's got the Astrolabe. I'm not really sure what his plan is here, but it's not gonna
his
work.
plan is to he almost made it out.
He sorta had like a decent juke.
Yeah, he had a Polki on the ground and he tried to get back to it. I don't know, the positioning of where he dropped it though was really weird. But yeah, it was actually quite close because Swiftblade kind of messed up a little bit.
Apparently Teltook is not pleased with the quality of our casting, by the way. You should have a conversation with him.
Oh, really?
Just saying. Anyway, they will chop down the trees here, and Ra gonna get spotted. No teleport for you. He'll come right back up with his ultimate, but I'm guessing he's not gonna live long. Before I even get to the end of that sentence, he's dead.
What you gonna do about it?
I would say yes. A lot of the casts I do probably do tend toward the negative, but in general, I would say that's representative of the fact that, by and large, people do the right thing, and it's not. I'm not sure how valuable it is to continuously point out, like, he got boots. That was the correct decision. Oh, he got a portal key on Magnus. What a player! Like, I don't know. It's the bad is usually the novel. So
Yep.
that's usually the stuff that's worth pointing out, because the good stuff is like, well, duh. I will point out that 3 of the Hellborn heroes have vestments, and I love that. It is kind of, you know, interesting considering Rhapsody has a Void Talisman, but hey, I love to see vestments, and I was actually going to bring that up earlier. Heavy magic damage on this Legion side, and oh my god, a team actually bought vestments, it's amazing! Don't do that.
Yeah, the fact that they actually went for the freaking Congo kill as well amazes me. Like, they could have so easily just ended it without the freaking Conqueror.
They probably could, but I think that fight they took in the top lane scared them a little bit, and they're like, look, if we're going to break base, it'd be a lot easier to do with a token, so let's just go get a token. It's not like it's going to cost us anything. I mean, there's no way that Legion can interrupt a Conqueror kill, so free token, might as well do it. So there you go, that's a good decision that I agree with. I don't know.
Right, let's see. Yeah, as long as they don't dive, I mean, there's nothing that Legion team can do anyway,
right.
So, like, as long as they play it like this.
Hellfield on to 3, and 2 of them actually break it. Wormhole on top of the Cascade event. Comes through from Brave Blocker in the background. Chronos ultimate actually really only catches 1 person, or 2 actually. Tempest Hole going to catch onto 2 as well. Release Kraken will finally cancel it. 1 down for each side. Probust also falling, and Legion side are pushing this back pretty effectively, as Tempest is now trying to get away, but this Raw has too much damage and health for that to happen. Tempest is going to fall at some point, really. Is he not going to die? They do kill Raw, and Tempest is alive for reasons I don't understand. Kraken now going to try to chase him down as he... Why isn't he... attack him! What?
I don't know.
Okay, Raw kills...
I mean, I guess it's
the
because they had a
Tempest.
token and didn't want it to spawn, but, like... I don't know. That was weird.
Oh, okay. Alright, apparently Telltale is not criticizing it, he's providing a general description. Yeah, but a little more analysis-based? Okay,
What is that guy talking about?
I'm not really, like, I'm not... How else do you cast?
I don't know, I haven't read what he wrote, what did he read?
See, I'm not saying the cast is bad, I'm not saying you focus on the negative decisions, which I think we do a little bit more, but I tend to say probably more negative things than positive things. So, I don't know, even if that's not what you were saying, I do think that's true. Anyway, middle lane, they will jump onto a couple nice saw blades from Probot to get a couple of pretty damn easy kills, and that's that master. That slow is quite effective. Looks like Kraken Raw and Swiftblade trying to come back in. Bubbles with the buyback. They're trying to beat this Hellborn team out of their base. Tempest getting focused on as he's being run down to the background, but he has no ultimate, so I really don't think this is the target you want to kill, because the rest of the Hellborn team is going to come in and start cleaning up on the Legion. Tempest finally going to get killed with the Rhapsody ultimate. It's kind of late, but they do all of a sudden have the rest of Hellborn, and this should start to result in a whole bunch of deaths. Release the Kraken ultimate, actually hit onto 3, and they will be able to take out Time to Die, as well as Yugovic on the Chronos and the Rhapsody. And Killfield's there as well, and it looks like Mewtwo making a pretty strong statement right here. Raw loses his ultimate, but Labyrinth gonna get killed by the Shell Surf. Off to the side, Probus gets another ultimate, because that's how long this fight has lasted. Tempest with the buyback, coming back in as the Glacial Blast, and actually King Nikke dies somehow to Probus. Was he on the blades or something? Anyway, Swiftblade getting a double tap thanks to his ultimate. Yeah, R button. All of Dawn are dead. Which is not
went pretty well.
Sentence I thought I was going to say at any point in this game.
No, I don't know. I don't know what's going on right now. Like, there's still 20k gold behind, so there's no way for a comeback whatsoever, but like, for some reason Dawn is just coordinating those fights terribly, more or less. Yeah. They're getting hit by, like, Kraken ultimate, for example, got hit 3 people. Right. Amara stun and stuff, like, gets hit multiplied people. Silence always hits more than 1. I don't know. Yes. It's a bit funny.
And hey, let's keep that positive train going. I think you do have to give Mewtwo credit. They're managing to line these ultimates up pretty well on top of each other in more or less the same way that, you know, you look at the draft and you see the wombo combo potential. They're executing it about as well as they possibly can. And they're managing to distract Dawn and keep them off of the towers and off of the racks and fighting heroes. So, I mean, I don't think Dawn can do that too many more times and feel super comfortable about their position in this game. They're going to 5-man down mid once again.
They can probably do it like 2 or 3 more times, though.
I think they can do it at least once more, and maybe twice. But if they keep having these team fights, and the buybacks are becoming an issue as well, for the Legion team especially.
problem though with the Hellborn or the Legion side lineup is that if they are outside of your base, it's so hard to line up the combos.
That's true. Anyway, Drunken Master will get hit with a raw stun, as he could have a focus buffer on him. He's just like, alright, I'm gonna kill these racks. Maybe I'm not gonna kill these racks. Chrono's coming back in. He drops the ultimate onto a number of heroes, as the Saw Blades are there from Tripper as well. Tempest Hole gonna lock down too, but that's canceled pretty quickly. Blitz Kraken also hits onto 2. Wormhole ultimate gonna hit onto 4 heroes in the background. Rhapsody saving some damage and allowing Tempest to get out of here as they manage to finish off that Rift Walker, but eventually Iceland goes on and Tempest does fall. Rumble's getting locked down and he's gonna survive, in fact. Raw's wants to take death. Sorry, King Nick on the Kraken surviving as here comes a Swift Slash. It's onto a couple. Spin. He doesn't really know who he wants to go for, and as a result, not going to get anybody. All of a sudden, Dutch Ownage going to have to walk away from this fight. Teleport coming back in from King Nick and that Kraken, who didn't even die in that fight. Just managed to get back to the well and heal staccatos onto the Swiftblade. Here comes Kraken. This is the charge in the background. Drunken Master wants some more. Saw Blades go through, and that's going to do a lot of damage, especially because Swiftblade spin is down. He has nowhere to go, and it gets picked up. Kraken now trying to run away and find a juke spot, but he's not going to be able to. A little bit too much burst damage there from Probos. It's 25, 3, and 14.
Yeah.
The
I don't know
Legion
what
have
to say.
overrun a Hellborn FOB.
I don't even know
team
how they
fights-
can hold on this well, but
These team fights are very good casting practice. They're going on for a very long time.
The Legion barracks
Sure.
are victorious.
Anyway, I do take the
Anyway.
mid-racks. Okay, now
I
we're
was
at,
going for the staff, by the way.
we're gonna stop. We're gonna say the final thing about the Celtic chat or whatever, and then we're gonna stop talking about it because it's not worth it. Yeah, I don't really know what, other than analysis-based cast, what there is to do. I mean, there's the team fight PvP, but in a lot of engagements, it's like, all right, this guy's getting picked off, a couple of spells get used, but it's not that big a deal. And sometimes you can do PvP on that, but eh. Other than that,
What are you guys talking
okay,
about?
casting. I don't know if you're in Twitch. You are in Twitch chat a little bit because you posted it, but it's, I don't know. It's an interesting conversation to have. Casting for memes, what's happening in the game match. Analysis based cast for memes. Analyze what's happening in the game, for example. Right. No, I mean that's fair. I'm definitely not criticizing you at all in terms of what you're saying. I think it's pretty damn accurate in terms of what we try to do. I just. You're right that Breaky's cast tends to be a little bit more him, just like when action happens, it's him, and when it's what should happen, it's just me. Anyway, bottom lane, it's gonna be the Chrono Field onto Swiftblade, and it's gonna be him getting away actually, as the spin is enough. Lisa Kraken goes through onto Chronos. See if they can get this kill. He's pretty damn tanky. Has the time leap away. Probusk waiting for the portal key to come back up. Takes the break on the kelp field, but he will be fine. Another Invis. Actually, that's an Ion Stone is what that is. And they're going to put Invis on a number of heroes and get the hell out of there. So, costs a couple of Legion side ultimates, but they do eventually secure the getaway and nobody dies.
Now Rhapsody went for our shamans, by the way, off to the void.
Well, you go, Bick.
Oh my god.
I don't know whether to be like, you shouldn't have gotten the Void, or to be like, good for recognizing the fact that a Void is not a great item in this game, and being like, actually I need magic resistance, and I think that's probably the route I'm going to go with.
Yeah. I don't think he's used the void.
If he has, I haven't seen it, and if he has, it's probably mostly that I haven't seen it because he died so quickly that I couldn't even realize there was a Void challenge for him.
More or less, yes.
Well, Hellborn seem very, very committed to keeping up the pressure, and I certainly can't blame them.
I don't know how this game can still go on. Like, they're 20k ahead. Can they just end? What are they doing?
I mean, the defense from Legion has been pretty fantastic. Like, they can end, but Legion side are fighting in front of their racks to the point where Hellborn... It's not just like Hellborn are choosing to dive tier 4s. They are doing that a fair bit. Like, it's not like they're not doing that, but the places where Legion are taking these fights are essentially just in front of their important buildings. So if the Hellborn want to get to their buildings, they have to go to the Legion team, but they're also not, like, fighting super far out of their base.
Well, if they just had a freaking tablet or something, there would have been no way for anyone of them to die.
That's true.
They could have just had Drunken in the freaking front or something,
That's
just
true.
hitting the racks, and then it could have tabbed him out if something were to happen. But they're just... I don't know, if I would have been in their team, I would
Kraken
have
gonna
just...
jump in here with the release of Kraken. In the background, Kronos ultimate is there. Rhapsody and Tempest putting their ultimates pretty much on top of each other. Chipper Rocket, or Saw Blades in the background. They will kill King Nick and the Kraken, as well as the Rift Walker and Kelpfield onto a whole bunch of people. We'll see if Suplay can get out of this. My suspicion is no, he can't. Bubbles dies, as well as Ra gonna lose the ultimate here. Coming right back up in front of a bunch of Hellborn heroes. And yeah, he died real fast. So. And this is the other thing, they've repeatedly used buybacks to keep themselves in it when this sort of thing happens, and now they don't have buybacks. So that's going to be a free racks, and this is the first really free racks they've taken on the Hellborn.
The Legion barracks are liquidated.
Yep. I don't know, looking at the
The
stats
Legion
in this
barracks
game,
are
I would have just
liquidated.
expected it to be a 15-minute concede.
Yep.
And then like fountain dives or something for a few minutes. But that's actually not what happened for some reason.
Rocker ultimate getting cancelled. It's just trying to work her way into the trees for some reason. They have a monkey courier. Oh, that's because the courier got killed earlier. I'm like, was that just never upgraded? No, it's the second courier was
I don't
never
know,
upgraded.
you wouldn't fucking surprise me at this point.
Well, Void Talisman now on Drunken... Rhapsody, thank you! She finally pops her Void Talisman to save herself from the fountain damage. And at this point, diving the well.
Just boosting their stats a little bit, tournament stats. Why not?
Hey, that's good stuff. And
They shouldn't go in until they have the reps to ultimate up yet, though. Or it's in 15 seconds, then they can dive as much as they want.
every so often I get asked why I don't keep the gold division stats. This is why.
Yeah, exactly.
Because this stuff happens in Diamond too, a little bit, but it's a lot rarer, and people don't typically just sit around farming kills the entire time. Anyway, they're going to destroy Bubbles because he really doesn't have much health. There goes the Rift Walker as well. So, who really cares about that 25% reduced damage from the Chrono Field? He's actually going to staff the Master, so it really doesn't matter, and Ra going to fall as well. And Suplay died, I didn't even realize. Kraken coming back up, has the charge, Rhapsody going to save a bunch of damage, has the release Kraken, actually that's going to stop the ultimate, and they will get one kill on the Tempest as well as the Rhapsody. Not bad.
Oh, good.
The Hellborn have overrun a Legion FOB.
And
Well done.
I guess Dawn are sick of this game and this series, and I'm just like, screw it, if
The
you're not going to
Hellborn
concede,
have
then we're going to
overrun
take
a
your
Legion
throne.
FOB.
I like honestly myself, like my opinion of these kind of games. If I am to play them, I just hate playing them. Yeah, like I would have been so pissed if I were in Dawn that the Legion team, like, or that we weren't able to finish faster. But like it's super fun if it's your friends, for example.
Yeah. In
If you're
TMM,
like
it's
in-house
great.
or something like that. Yeah.
By
But
the
the
way-
tournament, I want to keep the focus up
Right.
as much
You
as
don't wanna
possible
waste time as
for future series and all that kind of stuff. So
Right.
I'm like, guys, now focus.
Robusk apparently hates to take cover, so Legion or Mewtwo finally learning the value of take cover is if you have people diving you in your well and you take cover, then they can't kill you. That's where take cover is valuable, people. Rift Walker ultimate going through, he's not going to hit anything. They're trying to chase down the drop, and they will eventually kill him. Chronofield actually.
Can he hit
Suplay
the
walked
wall
into
tree?
it.
Why
Apparently
doesn't
he
it hit the
can't.
wall tree though?
By the way, I failed to mention that Probusk has a codex, which he's had for some time. I don't know. Worth a mention.
There, the post-its comes.
Yeah,
Nice.
a couple of heroes come back in. It looks like they're
Valiant
just done.
effort,
So,
warriors.
Dawn gonna kill the throne, end the game the old-fashioned way,
Hellborn
and
flag still flies.
apparently Legion think that's lame. I don't know. That
Yeah,
game lasted for
backdoor.
34 minutes, and it really shouldn't have. So, anything else to say?
I don't know. I think we covered most of it, or the important parts of the game. Like once again, Legion teams draft just way too greedy, and like they are dependent on their core items in every single game, more or less. They need heroes that can actually do something in the early game as well, that can actually possess a threat to the Hellborn team. Other than that, no, not really. If they want to be able to take any or like if they want to do better in the next cycle, they really need to practice a lot and look at how the Diamond teams are, like mostly the positioning and the movement during the laning phase is what's important.
Right. Well, they will have a chance next cycle. They did lose the series 0-2, and this is the round of 16, which means they go to losers bracket round 1, which means they could face demotion to silver, but in fact, all of the losers bracket round 1 matches, I believe, were forfeited, or they were byes, which means that, in fact, Mewtwo does advance to the losers bracket round 2, and they will be in gold division for cycle 7. So maybe they can learn something from this game and this series. And
the brackets are actually up already, so
don't
let's
tell
see.
me what happens. It's in the
I
future.
shouldn't.
We don't know what's gonna happen.
I know who they're playing at least.
Yeah, but then you're gonna give away how that team did, theoretically.
No, I wouldn't.
And you would
Because
give away.
we already know that they're not advancing to Diamond, so it doesn't really matter, does it?
We don't know.
Or
We
like-
don't know that who's advancing. We don't know who's advancing to diamonds. No, we don't know anything.
We don't?
This is
Okay.
just the round of 16. All right. I obviously, I mean, if people want to find stuff
Well,
out, they can go and find it themselves.
Spoiler warning. Say spoiler warning, and then it's alright, you know? That's
But,
the
like,
secret code word.
If people want to know, they can just go find it themselves. It's really not difficult to determine this information. So I don't know. I try to stay
Alright.
away from it. Anyway, Dawn taking a 2-0 series victory. I think that was more or less expected. I'm not sure if too many people are hugely surprised by the fact that Dawn beat Mewtwo, but good play from them, I guess.
Mewtwo is like the strongest Pokemon though, so
Mewtwo is not the strongest Pokemon, that's Arceus.
alright. Mewtwo is one of the strongest at least.
Mewtwo is one of the strongest Pokemon, but he is not the strongest Pokemon. Get your Pokemon right before you come up against me. That's
Yeah.
right. Anyway, I'll do it for this series. So congrats to Dawn for moving on to the round of 8, and we'll see Mewtwo in the losers bracket round 2, as they'll be playing somebody else. Don't know yet. So thanks for watching, guys.